Everyone, welcome back. Dr. Glassmoyer here. This is a follow-on video to the video on surviving divorce and the backlash of narcissistic rage. This has been a video that has gotten an extraordinary amount of views and questions and comments. What I absolutely love to see is you offering support to one another, sharing your stories with such incredible courage and vulnerability. And I just so appreciate seeing that and so appreciate each one of you. One of the most asked questions that I've seen, understandably, has to do with how do you handle when your soon-to-be ex is drawing your children into this very venomous place, maybe telling the children lies about you, telling the children things that kids of any age should be protected from, and how do you deal with it? So we're going to get back to the basics here, because one of the things about toxic relationships is that the relationship itself blows away any normal, healthy boundaries. When you are under constant assault, it is very normal and natural to want to defend yourself, to press in, to explain yourself, to help him to understand in the early days when you think that he actually is capable of understanding. And so going through this, any sense of this is his side of the street, this is my side of the street, I don't have to go there, gets really blown away early on in the relationship, and the relationship becomes enmeshed in this very unhealthy way. He is, by his very nature, motivated to control you, to draw you in, to have you impacted by his emotion, by any drama that he might bring up. He can control you when he can get you to react emotionally. So here you are going through this very painful divorce and maybe doing a really good job of stepping back, having your attorney handle things for you, not responding to his threats, to his accusations, to his venom. And here you are doing a great job. So what does he do? He brings out the big guns. And the big guns usually mean that he is going to involve the children in some way. So for most women, this is the place where it gets really hard, because the first thing that you want to do, of course, is to explain to your children, to explain to your child what your dad's telling you isn't true, or no, that's not the way it happened. And if he can get you to do that, this is the worst kind of narcissistic triangulation. One of the most unhealthy dynamics is what we call triangulation. So he's telling your child something, he's drawing you into this conversation because you feel like you have to react and defend yourself with your child. So the really healthy way to deal with this, hard, but when you understand it, it's going to make a lot of sense. It's going to allow you to step back rather than press in, is to know, again, because he says it doesn't mean you have to respond to it. Because he's telling your child this, even if your child is believing things in the beginning, over time, you showing up as the parent who is consistently not pulling the child or children in, consistently being unwilling to badmouth the other parent, consistently saying to your child, you know, this is something between your dad and I. It's something very painful, and there's no reason for your dad or I to tell you things that are hurtful, that are hard for you to hear. And I will not do that. What I want you to know is that everyone has their own perspective, and that I love you very much. And because I love you, I want you to be able to continue to have a good relationship with your dad and a good relationship with me. And therefore, I am not going to be talking bad about your dad to you. Even if it's hard for me, even if there's things that I know are not true, I'm not going to engage in that conversation with you. Over time, this is so healing to your child, to your children. I don't care if the child is little or if they're grown. We each have an internal representation of our parents, healthy or unhealthy, of our dad, of our mom. And when parents are at war with each other and the child is not being shielded from that, that war is transferred to the internal world of the child. And so over time, even if it seems like your child's turning away from you, your child won't talk to you, you need to tell them what really happened. It's not going to work any more than it worked to engage in any sort of conversation where you explained yourself, where you explained the situation, where you tried to get him to see the light, because he does not live in the same reality that you do. He's not motivated to do what's right. He's not motivated to do what's healthy. He is motivated to get revenge. And if he can use your child or children to get revenge against you, then guess what? If he is emotionally abusive, if he has a pathological amount of narcissism in his personality, he's going to do that. He's going to stop at nothing. So again, think of stepping back, being the calm that your children so desperately need as their family is being torn apart. It isn't staying together necessarily. It isn't trying to fix it. It isn't trying to explain it, because you just get drawn into the very place where he wants you to be, that very unhealthy triangle. So by continuing to reassure your child, I am here, I love you, and I'm not going to do anything to hurt you, emotionally or physically, even if that means defending myself to you with things that I hear that I know aren't true. I'm not going to do that, because that just adds to that internal pain and turmoil that you're experiencing. And as your mom, I'm not going to contribute to that. So stepping through this and refusing to get drawn into his drama, refusing to get drawn into that unhealthy place. And as I said in the previous video, a person with pathological narcissism can hold it together for a while. And as long as they feel in control, as long as they can draw you into the drama, they can maintain that facade. But when you won't go there, it's almost more than they can handle. And the more he talks badly about you, and you're not going to participate in that, you're going to step back, you're going to rise above that. The more you step back, the more he shows up as he is, in all his toxic glory. And it becomes clearer and clearer to your children, to your friends, to your family, to people that he has badmouthed you to. They start to see you as you truly are, despite what he's saying about you. I know how hard this is. Everything in you, the mama bear in you, wants to step in, wants to explain, wants to tell the kids. But remember, as you do that, it's creating more turmoil in them. So continue to step back. I'm going to be doing a video on boundaries, on healthy boundaries. Boundaries may sound simple on the surface. They're not. But they are at the heart and soul of our emotional well-being. Whether we're going through a traumatic time, like enduring a divorce after an emotionally abusive relationship, or whether we're just navigating our life, our recovery, our joyful place after it, new relationships, Boundaries are at the heart of healthy emotional being, of healthy emotional relationships. Really important, and we're going to talk about this. So thank you for tuning in. Again, thank you for your courageous support, for your willing to be vulnerable, your willingness to be open and honest and share your stories with one another. I can't tell you what it means to myself and to other women who are going through this. You see a lot of the public comments. There are many personal messages, private messages that I receive. And each one of them says, thank you, expressing gratitude. I just provide the forum for this. I can provide a limited amount of help and information, but each of you can be there for one another. So from my heart to yours, thank you, thank you. Stay tuned, come back in a couple days. I'm going to be releasing the video on boundaries, and hopefully this is going to answer some of the many questions that I'm receiving. Great to see you. Remember, I have been where you are, and I'm here to help.